Sent me to the ER. Each episode features real couples recounting their most embarrassing bedroom disasters, which are then dramatized by actors in over-the-top reenactments. On the surface, it's meant to be funny, complete with sound effects, shocked doctors, and awkward slow-mo scenes. But underneath the laughs, there's something a little darker going on. As is typical with many TLC shows, Sent Me to the ER often crosses the line between humorous and exploitation. It takes deeply personal, often traumatic experiences and plays them for laughs.
The most awful pain I can imagine struck me.
It's a glow stick into her.
There's no real interest in understanding how these situations affected the people involved. It's all about shock value. One of the most infamous episodes features a 440-pound man and his much smaller girlfriend.
It's a cozy little setup you got here.
Oh, thanks.
During their first time together, things went from romantic to dangerous in seconds when he accidentally slammed her head through a sheetrock wall. She was literally stuck next to a wooden beam. While she ended up with no major injuries, this...
I refuse to believe that fat motherfucker shit was even out, bro. I'm gonna keep it a stack. That motherfucker looked like he had Banjo-Kazooie music playing whenever he arrives everywhere. You telling me his schlong was out? Cap. He just ran her head through a fucking what's that shit called? Through a drywall for no reason.
The situation was far from harmless. The show treated it like slapstick comedy, brushing past how frightening or damaging that moment could have been. Another story involved a woman who experienced a 2-hour orgasm that refused to stop.
That sounds terrible. Imagine you, yo, 2 hours? I'd be like, oh, for 2 hours? Oh, hell nah, bro. I'd be like, take me out my misery, bro. Yo, nothing for 2 hours. Yo, that sounds terrible. You're just there like, They'd be like, honey, are you done? She's still there like, I'd be looking at my watch like, bitch, it's been 30 minutes. You still there? Nah, bro. Hell no, bro. Call the ambulance.
Sound like a dream scenario quickly became a nightmare.
Oh
she was
my
in pain,
God.
panicked, and couldn't get her body under control. Doctors eventually linked her symptoms to a mental health condition.
Yo, she just kept twitching there. Nah.
The show didn't take it seriously. Instead, they played it up for laughs, exaggerating her discomfort and ignoring how clearly distressed she was. And then there's the man who, while naked and enjoying the desert, somehow ended up with a legless lizard in his urethra. Yes, inside his bladder.
Ew.
The animal didn't survive, and the man was left in both physical pain and emotional guilt over the lizard. The show, unsurprisingly, treated the whole thing as absurd comedy rather than the extremely disturbing medical emergency it was. At its core, Sent Me to the ER is a show about humiliation disguised as humor. It invites viewers to laugh at the worst moments of someone else's life without ever asking them to feel anything deeper. Toddlers and Tiaras. Toddlers and Tiaras might just be one of the most controversial reality shows to ever hit television, mostly because of what it dared to put front and center, the competitive world of child beauty pageants.
Oh, I feel bad for them kids, bro. Child beauty pageants. The moms. The problem with those shows is the moms want the children. It's like the moms want to live through the children. So the moms be like, oh, I'm going to make you do all this beauty pageant shit, put you through all this psychological trauma. Like, it's fucked up, bro. Like, these are little girls. They're supposed to be out having fun. They're supposed to be playing with fucking, Barbie dolls, going on bike rides, playing with Play-Doh, arts and crafts. Like, why the fuck you got them doing this shit? This is like adult stuff.
The show followed families as they prepared their children, some as young as 2 years old, to compete in grisly pageants that demanded full glam, big fake hair, and adult-level stage performances. These weren't preschool recitals. These were mini Miss Americas with glitter cannons and fake eyelashes.
Yes, I am beautiful. And you told me, you said if I was beautiful, and I'm always beautiful.
Oh, my heart. My heart, give her a hug. Oh my gosh. I can't. Look, that's so sad, bro. I can't, bro.
Like harmless sparkle, but look a little closer and you'll see why it sparked constant outrage.
Of course.
Episodes regularly showed toddlers in disturbingly adult roles.
That's terrible.
One mother dressed her 3-year-old as Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman.
What?
Yes, the sex worker role, complete with thigh-high vinyl boots and a tiny mini skirt. Another child, 4 years old, was paraded around in a Dolly Parton outfit, complete with padded fake breasts and a padded butt.
What?
These weren't isolated choices either. Nearly every episode featured young kids in provocative outfits and suggestive routines that made audiences question whether anyone behind the camera had ever heard of child protection laws.
Nah.
But it wasn't just about how these toddlers looked. It was about what they were put through.
Yup.
Early morning wake-ups at 4 a.m. for hair and makeup, spray tans that stained their baby skin, eyebrow waxing left them in tears, and flippers, fake teeth designed to make them look more polished, more perfect, and way less like the actual children they were. And if all that wasn't disturbing enough, enter Go-Go Juice, a cocktail of Red Bull and Mountain Dew that one mother fed her daughter to boost her energy, or Pixie Sticks, better known as pageant crack, because apparently nothing says childhood innocence like powdered sugar stimulants. The show captured all of this in real time, glamorizing a culture where a child's value was determined by how well she could perform femininity. Not intelligence, not kindness, not creativity, just how pretty she could look, how well she could sashay, and how obediently she could pose for judges. And these kids didn't have a say. They were being molded, painted, caffeinated, and pushed into a spotlight they never asked for.
Go back, go back, go back. Let me show you how to do it.
Oh, I remember her. Like, oh, bro. I remember the mom. The mom, ugh. Bro, that would break my heart, bro. They got her crying and shit. Hell no, bro. Get her out of there, bro. Go get her, like, take her to an amusement park. Take her to Coney Island or something, please.
Parents justified their actions by claiming it was harmless fun or a path to success, but the reality was far darker. The show exposed toddlers to environments where their innocence was something to be abused for entertainment, leaving them vulnerable not just to emotional harm, but also to potential predatory attention. 90 Day Fiancé. 90 Day Fiancé is a reality show built around a high-stakes deadline. Foreign fiancés have just 90 days to marry their...
I can't lie, though. 90 Day Fiancé, Big Ed, this girl, I think she's, like, living lavishly now because she got, like, a bunch of dudes following her on her Instagram. I think she even got a freaking OnlyFans now, if I could remember correctly. I think I saw some shit like that. I don't know if she got an OnlyFans, but I know she living good now. And I don't know what happened to Big Ed, but I can't lie. Big Ed was an ugly motherfucker. 2, this motherfucker was rubbing mayonnaise in his hair, bro. You're tweaking. Like, are you kidding me?
American partners under the K-1 visa, or pack up and leave the country. On paper, it sounds like a whirlwind love story. In practice, it's often a messy emotional roller coaster that pulls back the curtain on cultural clashes, power imbalances, and sometimes downright exploitative relationships. One of the most talked about stories comes from season 7's Juliana Custodio. At first glance, her storyline seemed like a typical young model meets older rich guy trope.
This interview is gonna change my whole life, everything. And then moving to America, I'm gonna have a routine, I'm gonna work. My fiance doesn't have to travel every month to come see me, extra money.
But the deeper you look, the more troubling it becomes. Juliana, originally from Brazil, came from a background of extreme poverty. She worked in a sweatshop at just 8 years old and was allegedly trafficked by a modeling agency before being pushed into an arranged marriage at 17.
Damn.
By the time she appeared on the show at 23, she was engaged to 42-year-old Michael Jessen, a wealthy American businessman she met on a yacht in Croatia. The show dressed their relationship up as a fairy tale, but many viewers weren't convinced. Was this love or a survival strategy? Juliana later revealed that behind the scenes, the relationship was far from ideal. She was treated more like a live-in maid than a partner and ended up financially supporting Michael's household during the pandemic. Eventually, she left him. Not because the camera stopped rolling, but because she was once again stuck in a situation where she had no real control. Strange is not your average documentary. Originally a one-off special on Discovery Health, it eventually turned into a 6-episode series. The goal here was to explore the most taboo, uncomfortable, and downright bizarre corners of human sexuality. But
that ain't the size of his dick. Shut up. Shut up, bro. Shut up. That ain't the size of his dick. Hell no. Hell no, bruh. Hell no.
But while many shows tiptoe around these topics,
Oh my,
no filters.
Yo! Oh my god, bro. I thought I was gonna see straight areolas. Oh! Oh, come on, man. Come on. I got so scared, bro. Nah, dude, they gotta stop playing with me like that, bro. I'm not trying to get banned. Yo, I thought I was gonna see straight tetas. Grandes tetas. Just straight big-ass bazookas on my screen. It's a YouTube video? Nah, bro. It's the way they pan down and all I saw was skin.
The format is simple. Each episode profiles real people with unusual sexual behaviors, rare medical conditions, or extreme fetishes. These stories are told plainly, with minimal emotion and a heavy dose of clinical commentary from medical professionals. That straightforward delivery paired with often shocking content is exactly what makes the show so jarring. One standout episode introduces us to Ron Lowe, a man determined to reverse his circumcision. Yes, really. After years of feeling like
he's trying to you can't reverse that, bro. You trying to get the meat back on your schmeat? That don't work like that.
he lost something essential as an infant, Ron began experimenting with methods to regrow his foreskin. He eventually invented a homemade device which involved taping his penis every day. His wife thought he was joking at first. He wasn't. In fact, he turned his experiment into a business, selling similar devices to other men seeking foreskin restoration. Then there's Kelly Miller, a woman born with uterus didelphys, a rare condition that gave her 2 vaginas. Her story is raw and deeply personal, touching on fears of infertility and the emotional strain of romantic rejection. But again, the show keeps things at arm's length. Instead of creating empathy, it treats her as another fascinating specimen, clinically dissected and emotionally distant. And if you thought it couldn't get weirder, enter Chris, a man who once feared balloons but now finds them sexually arousing.
This is gonna be epic. As it's getting bigger, I get a little anxious, a little nervous, you know, get really excited.
He attends balloon lover meetups and describes their texture and sound as deeply pleasurable.
Having some type of fun with it.
That's a big balloon!
It's not just his transformation that's startling, it's how seriously everyone takes it, as if we're all supposed to just nod and move on. What sets Strange apart isn't just its content, but its tone. It doesn't ask you to feel anything. There's no arc, no character development, and no emotional takeaway. It's pure observation, like flipping through a medical journal where the subjects just happen to talk back. MILF Manor. MILF Manor may well be one of the most wildly inappropriate reality TV experiments ever broadcast. On the surface, it sounds like your typical dating show. 8 single women, all aged between 40 and 60, are flown to a luxury villa in Mexico to meet younger men and explore potential romances. So far, so predictable. But then comes the twist that flips the show from trashy to truly jaw-dropping.
So curious as to what I can find here.
That's my mom right there.
The younger men are their own sons. Yes, their son.
What?
From the very first episode, it becomes painfully clear that this is not just another dating show, it's a social experiment that's just wrong. The discomfort hits fast. In a challenge meant to break the ice, or perhaps all psychological safety, the mothers are blindfolded and tasked with identifying their sons by touching the shirtless torsos of all the
Lock all those moms up. What the fuck kind of shit is this?
other men. What's pitched as a fun bonding game only gets more disturbing as one son nervously laughs and jokes he's just hoping she doesn't go below the waist. In one jaw-dropping moment, a mother casually admits that she slept with her son's friend.
Okay, my secret is I slept with your best friend.
And he said that shit live on TV. Damn, bro.
Her son looks visibly shaken, and the audience is equally horrified. Instead of treating the moment with the weight it deserves, the show gleefully zooms in, turning what could be real emotional trauma into a primetime spectacle. Adding to the psychological tension, mothers and sons are forced to bunk in the same rooms. While the moms openly flirt with other contestants, many of whom are their son's age, they also grow possessive, frequently stepping in to warn their sons away from certain women, often out of jealousy masked as concern. What results is a surreal blend of maternal authority and romantic rivalry, creating a power dynamic that feels more disturbing than dramatic. Technically, there's no incest, thank God.
Thank God!
That's it right there, baby.
But MILF Manor teeters so close to the edge that it constantly feels like it's daring you to look away, then punishing you for not doing so. I love a mama's boy. TLC has a long-standing tradition of creating reality TV that walks a fine line between fascinating and uncomfortable. I Love a Mama's Boy fits that mold perfectly, offering viewers an unfiltered look into mother-son relationships that blur, twist, and outright ignore healthy boundaries. At its core, the show explores what happens when a romantic relationship is forced to compete with a mother's unrelenting attachment to her adult son, and the results are often deeply bizarre.
Thing revolves around like what your mom wants. She's really like wiggled her way into our relationship, and I feel like she needs to take a step back. I wish that like you could express that to her in like however you would like to tell her.
Yeah,
like,
well, I don't want to hurt her.
So how would you say it? Like I feel
I
like
would never say it.
The premise centers around couples whose love lives are regularly hijacked by the man's mother. One of the most talked about moments involves Matt and his mother Kelly. In one episode, Matt takes his mom lingerie shopping to buy something for his girlfriend Kim. Now, this is already really weird.
Yeah.
But the scene escalates when Kelly decides to buy the same exact silk robe Matt selects for Kim.
Nice, she would love that.
I would love that. I'm kind of her size.
Yeah.
I could see me wearing that too.
Okay, I can too.
The gift, meant to be romantic, now feels like a three-way awkward triangle from a nightmare. For many viewers, this moment highlighted just how disturbingly close these mother-son duos can get. It wasn't just about shopping, it was Kelly inserting herself into the most intimate aspect of her son's love life. Another disturbing incident involves Mike and his mom, Liz.
I ain't gonna lie. I love my moms. But in scenarios like that, I'd be like, Mom, leave. Get the fuck out of here. Please, respectfully. I ain't got time for this. Leave. Like, when you get to a certain point, you gotta tell her. You gotta be like, hey, bruh, Because sometimes moms be like that, but you got to be like, bro, if I got a shorty already and you trying to insert yourself in a bunch of shit, nah. Leave.
Who turns possessiveness into a full-time job. She regulates what food Mike and his girlfriend Stephanie are allowed to keep in their home. But it doesn't stop there. Liz also accompanies Mike while shopping for Stephanie's birthday present and tells him not to spend more than $300. And how does she know how much he's spending? Because Liz shares a bank account with her grown son.
Crazy.
This level of control
Hell
isn't
no.
guidance, it's borderline financial guardianship. And it's all captured on camera with no shame. And then, just when you think the show couldn't possibly push the envelope further, along comes Ethan Weissman, who proudly refers to his mother as hot and a MILF. Yes, he said it out loud on camera to a national audience. While some might argue that this is just reality TV exaggeration, it doesn't take a psychology degree to recognize that emotional boundaries have been flattened with all the grace of a demolition crew. Smothered. If reality TV thrives on pushing boundaries, Smothered, TLC's series about overattached mother-daughter relationships, manages to bulldoze right through them. Where most family-centric shows highlight love, support, and the occasional harmless meddling, Smothered dives headfirst into deeply enmeshed dynamics that blur the line between intimacy and unhealthy dependence. One particularly jarring moment involves a mother named Laura and her daughter, who calmly reveal that they have a vial of sperm stored in their garage for an insemination scheduled the next morning.
What?
Their casual tone underscores just how normalized these extreme arrangements have become within the show's universe. Another featured pair, Sunhee and her daughter Angelica, present an equally eyebrow-raising dynamic. Although Angelica is an adult in a long-term romantic relationship, she still shares a bed with her mother. More notably, the two continue a lifelong ritual of sharing bathwater. This habit began when Angelica was a young
Sharing
child.
bathwater? Oh, shut up, bro. That sounds... What the fuck? Y'all sleep in the same bed and share bathwater? Get the fuck out of here.
Continued into adulthood. Sunhee explains this tradition as a symbol of trust and connection. However, for many viewers, it registered more as a red flag, a practice that ignores personal boundaries under the guise of closeness. Mary and her daughter Brittany add another layer to the series' exploration of boundary erosion. Throughout Brittany's adolescence and into adulthood, the two have continued to shower together. They don't stop there.
That's disgusting. You're showering with your parent? That old? Bro. I feel like no kizzy past the age like 6, 7. You shouldn't even be doing that shit. Max, I feel like once you get into the double digits, you shouldn't even be doing that shit no more. Like 10 years old, I'm like, nope. I'm solo dolo in that bitch, bro. Nope. I'm by myself.
They brush their teeth side by side, undo the bed together every morning, and Mary even takes it upon herself to wash her daughter's body. Brittany frames this as a source of emotional comfort rooted in childhood patterns, but the level of physical proximity and caretaking raises serious questions about autonomy and privacy. It gets worse because another relationship exists between Marcia and her daughter Elena. In their household, a typical morning begins with Marcia licking Elena's face, a behavior that began when Elena was a child and has inexplicably persisted into her 20s. Marcia even describes herself as Elena's puppy.
Nasty.
Leaning into the act as a symbol of their bond. Rather than appearing affectionate or nostalgic, the ritual feels unsettling, suggesting a kind of emotional regression dressed up as maternal devotion. Extreme Cougar Wives.
Whoa.
In 2012, TLC aired a 1-hour special titled Extreme Cougar Wives.
Ugh, Grandma, what you doing to that tree?
Reality show that set out to spotlight older women who exclusively date much younger men. On paper, it had the potential to explore themes of empowerment, ageism, and romantic autonomy. But in practice, it quickly devolved into a spectacle of awkward moments and disturbing storytelling. The show followed 3 women, Hattie, Jude, and Stephanie, each navigating unconventional relationships with much younger partners. At 76 years old, Hattie was the most outspoken of the trio. She proudly shared her dating history with men as young as 18 and didn't shy away.
Oh, but if the roles was reversed, if the roles was reversed and Hattie was named Henry, they would have crucified the fuck out of Henry.
From being sexually candid. In one scene, she meets a 25-year-old named Andrew at a hotel.
You said spawn camping? I'm dead.
And immediately begins flirting. According to Hattie, a cougar is a beast of prey that goes after young guys.
That a cougar is a beast of prey that goes after young guys.
Next was Jude, 53, who was in a relationship with Kevin, a 21-year-old. What made their pairing especially controversial was how they met, through Jude's daughter. Kevin had dated Jude's daughter back in middle school.
We first met through my daughter. They were in middle school together.
Crazy.
For the first year,
I know the daughter hates you.
Relationship, Jude would sneak into Kevin's bedroom late at night as Kevin still lived with his parents. When they decided to have a commitment ceremony, Kevin's family reacted with outrage, a moment captured on camera for maximum drama. The show lingered on the tense interactions between Kevin, Jude, and his family, despite this being a wildly personal situation. Stephanie, 65, was dating Octavio, a 28-year-old she met at his workplace.
I mean, all right, ain't too bad. 65, 28. You know, the age gap is still there, but I mean, 28, he's almost 30. He likes what he likes. She is old, but he's almost 30.
First, their relationship seemed less controversial than the others featured on Extreme Cougar Wives, until the show revealed a jaw-dropper. Octavio's mother was younger than Stephanie's. Naturally, the show played this up for shock value, milking Octavio's interest in Stephanie's wrinkles and confidence for every awkward beat it could. What could have been an interesting discussion on age, affection, and societal double standards just turned into a cringe fest. The show hyper-focused on voyeuristic, uncomfortable details, leaning into cradle-robbing stereotypes instead of offering any real insight. The Willis family. The Willis family focuses on the Willises, a seemingly idyllic family of 14 from Nashville, Tennessee.
Damn.
Bobby and Brenda Willis and their 12 children, all musically gifted, performed together as the Willis clan, and balanced their Christian values with their artistic pursuits. The family had charmed audiences on America's Got Talent before landing their own reality series in 2015. But just 1 year later, everything changed. In September 2016, Toby Willis was arrested on 4 counts of
what?
From abuse that began in 2002, shortly after the family relocated from Chicago to Nashville. But as the investigation intensified, Willis fled to Kentucky in an attempt to evade arrest. Unfortunately for him, he didn't move fast enough and got caught pretty quick. The revelations shocked fans and devastated the family. Brenda Willis, Toby's wife, released a statement expressing her disbelief and prioritizing her children's well-being during the fallout. All public appearances by the family were canceled as they grappled with the trauma. The show was officially canceled, making an abrupt end to a project that had once celebrated their talents.
Wow.
In July 2017, Toby Willis pleaded guilty to all charges and received 2 25-year sentences and 2 40-year sentences.
Wow!
Without parole, effectively ensuring he would spend the rest of his life in prison. The sentencing brought legal closure, but left
That's
lasting scars on his victims and family
insane.
members.
2
Willis
25-year
charged with
counts
one
and
count of
2
child
40?
abuse. He allegedly had
You're
encountered an
cooked.
underage family member more than a decade ago. His eldest daughter, Jessica Willis,
Yo,
Fisher,
that's
later revealed harrowing
insane.
details about her father's abuse in a memoir describing
He is
years
so
of
cooked, bro.
manipulation
Why
and
the
fear
fuck would
before
he
she
do some
finally
shit like
reported him
that?
to authorities. The Willis children have since worked to rebuild their lives, releasing music that reflects their pain and resilience. Their album, Speak My Minds, became a therapeutic outlet for addressing the trauma they endured under their father's control. For many of them, rediscovering their voices has been a slow but necessary process of reclaiming their identities after years of silence.
Why does Kai Cenat look like the devil? Yo, why everybody hating on Kai now? What Kai do?